Good evening, Strat-O-Maticers. Welcome to Game 6 of the 1977 Strat-O-Matic World Series replay between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Yankees. My name is Keith. I'm going to be your host as we go through this simulation this evening. A couple things before we get started. Those of you who have seen my other videos know that this is Strat-O-Matic using the super advanced rule system. Pretty much use all the rules that are associated with that. I enjoy it. Gives it the sim a level of depth. I think that's pretty cool. And the other thing that we use are the ballpark effects, excuse me, as well. And so Game 6 finds the two clubs returning to the Yankee Stadium. So just by ways of introduction, what I'd like to do is just go over the ballpark effects, a little bit about the game situation as well. So the Los Angeles Dodgers lead the series 3-2. And as I mentioned, we've got Game 6 coming to you from Yankee Stadium. So my lineups and the game information are found on baseballreference.com. I'm using the historical lineups that Tommy Lasorda and Billy Martin used for the series, along with historical starting pitchers. Now, it was a 6-game set, so if the Yankees happen to win Game 6 and we go to Game 7, then I'll be creating my lineups and starting pitchers based off of who I think would be best for that team, given the situation. So, Game 6 was played at Yankee Stadium, as mentioned, for the 6th time. There were 56,407 paid attendees at the game. The game took place on October 18th, 1977. It was a night game, played on grass, and the length of the game was 2 hours and 38 minutes. So the ballpark effects for Yankee Stadium, a little bit better than they were for Dodgers Stadium. On a ballpark effect single, both the left and the right side of the plate, a 1 through 8 will result in a single. A 9 or greater will result in an out to the respective defensive player. And then the home runs on balls hit by lefties, it's a 1 through 10 for a ballpark effect home run. 11 or greater is an out to right field. And for righties, much more difficult. On a 1 or a 2, it'll be a home run. 3 or greater, it will be a fly out to left. So those are your ballpark conditions, game conditions, and then also a little bit of information around ballpark effects. So when we look at today's game, we've had some things come up in the series that have been pretty interesting. So the Dodgers first baseman Steve Garvey has hit a total of 5 home runs in the series. He's had the last game he had multiple home runs, which helped the Dodgers take a 3-1 lead and ultimately win that game. So Garvey has hit 5 home runs. Interestingly enough, though, Reggie Jackson became known as Mr. October for his performance in the real 1977 World Series. And really what happened was he hit a total of 5 home runs in the series, but 3 of those came in Game 5. With the Yankees up 3-2 against the Dodgers, he literally took over Game 6. And he hit a home run on the first pitch in the 4th, 5th, and 8th innings to allow the Yankees to win that game. So, 3 home runs, 3 innings apiece, or 3 innings in between the 5th and the 8th, and then he had the one in the 4th. So pretty amazing performance. So what I'm hoping we can see happen is, I'm hoping Garvey can get the 6th home run. Jackson and a contemporary player hold the record for total home runs in a World Series at 5. But I'm really hoping that Garvey's able to hit that 6th home run. I think that would be pretty cool to break that record. So we'll see what happens. Getting into the pitchers and lineups for the game, the Dodgers are going with Burt Hooton. Hooton pitched and won the first outing that he had I'm just looking at my notes here, in Game 2. So he was the Game 2 winner. He has a 5.14 ERA, when he pitched in that second game, he pitched 7 innings. He gave up 7 hits, 4 runs, all earned. He had 1 walk and 4 strikeouts. So one of the consistent factors too for the Dodgers pitching, and I would say the same for the Yankees too in this replay series, has been that the starters have gone deep in most games, which has minimized the effect on the bullpens. I am using the super advanced bullpen rules as well, where relievers use 2 consecutive days in a row would result in them being fatigued should they pitch a 3rd day without rest. So I am keeping track of that as well. We don't have any relievers in a situation where if they were brought into this game they would be fatigued, but we do have some from the previous game that would suffer their 2nd game in a row and then result in a possible fatigue if used again. So we'll see how that goes, hoping that we can get 7 innings out of Hooton again in this one. And so the Yankees have Mike Torrez going for them in this game. Torrez was the loser in Game 3. He started, however, he took the loss. He has a 9.00 ERA coming into this game. In that game, he pitched 4 innings, gave up 4 hits, 5 runs, 4 of which were earned. He had 1 walk and 5 strikeouts. So Yanks are looking for a longer outing and also better performance than what he had in Game 3. So those are your 2 starters. We'll look at their cards here now. Getting back to Hooton, both pitchers have a point of weakness inning of the 7th inning. He's a 3 fielding rating, 0 error rating, so decent fielder. He hits using the number 2 hitting card for pitchers. He is a weak hitter and he hits from the right side. He is a right-handed pitcher as well. Hooton issues a balk on a roll of 2 or less, a wild pitch on a 4 or less, and then his bunting grade is a D. So a lot of times if the situation warrants it, I like to use my pitchers just like in real life to try to move those runners over, so I'm sure that bunting rating will come into play. And then his hold rating is a 0. Hooton's battery mate is Yeager, Steve Yeager. Yeager has a -3 for an arm, so on that pitcher-catcher combination, when it comes to stolen bases, we'd be looking at a total modifier of -3 for any Yankee runners looking to steal second base. Moving over to the Yankees, again, Mike Torrez, your right-handed pitcher, starting the game. Point of weakness is a 7. He has a 4 and an 18 fielding error rating. He uses the number 1 pitching card. He is weak, and then he hits from the right side of the plate. He does not allow a balk, or a balk can't happen with him on the mound. However, he does throw a wild pitch on a 3 or less. He has a bunting grade of C, and he has a hold rating of 0. So Munson's arm is a -1. So that bodes pretty well for Dodger base runners. Think about Davey Lopes and some of the other fast guys on the Dodgers. Might have some good opportunities for stolen bases with Torrez on the mound. So those are your 2 starters for the game. We'll get into lineups next. We'll start with the Dodgers. Not going to tell you what the fielding error ratings are as I go through this, as I had in previous videos. I'm just going to give you the order, side of the plate that they bat from, and then whether or not they had any special awards in 77. So the Dodgers are going to start out with the second baseman, Davey Lopes. He is a right-handed hitter. Lasorda had a lot of fortune in the series where his batters were mostly right-handed batters, and he had Reggie Smith, a switch hitter, playing as well, either in center field or right field, and so he was able to stack his lineups against the left-handed pitchers that the Yankees had, which was kind of interesting. So his lineups are more or less right-handed hitters up and down. This game will have a little bit of variation, and we'll get into that in a second. So batting second is Bill Russell, hitting from the right side of the plate, playing shortstop. Reggie Smith, again, as I mentioned, switch hitter. He has a -3 arm rating, and so makes it pretty hard to advance extra bases with that strong of an arm. In 77, he was an all-star, and in this game he'll be playing right field. Kind of a break for him. The last couple he's been playing in center. Ron Cey, the Penguin, is your third baseman. He also was an all-star in 77 and hits from the right side of the plate. Mr. Home Run, Steve Garvey, all-star and gold glove in 77, batting from the right side, playing first. He bats in the 5 spot. Dusty Baker, gold glove award winner in 77, is playing left field, batting from the right side of the plate. He has a -2 arm. So the Dodgers outfield has some pretty good defensive outfielders, along with outfielders with decent and strong arms. So Baker is batting in the 6th spot. Rick Monday gets his first start of the series. He had a couple of situational at-bats earlier, but he's starter out in center. Monday bats from the left side, and he has a -2 arm rating. Catcher Steve Yeager, batting 8th. He has a pass ball opportunity on a 2 or less, and he can commit a throwing error on a roll of 1 to 18, which is kind of interesting. He has a really solid defensive statistic, 1 for fielding rating, 8 for an error rating, but he can be erratic on that throw to second if that roll comes up. Again, he has a -3 for an arm, and he bats from the right side. And once again, Burt Hooton, batting from the right side, is the Dodgers' number 9 hitter. So those are your Dodgers for Game 6. Moving over to the Yankees. Pretty standard lineup from what we've seen in the previous games. Not a whole lot of variation. Mickey Rivers is going to lead us off. He's batting from the left side of the plate. He has a +2 arm, and he's playing in center field. So you take Rick Monday, he's got the -2 arm. Rivers has a +2 arm. Makes it a little bit easier to advance any Dodgers runners on balls hit to the outfield. Randolph is playing second base. He was an all-star in 77. He hits from the right side of the plate. Thurman Munson, the captain, playing catcher. He has a -1 arm, and he was an all-star reserve in 1977. He has a pass ball on a 3 or less, and then he commits a throwing error on a 1 to 9. Still a pretty good defensive catcher with a 2 and a 4 fielding error rating. Not quite as good as Yeager, but really darn solid. I enjoyed Thurman Munson when I was a kid, and was devastated when he was killed in that plane crash, as so many others were as well. Reggie Jackson, hitting in the 4th spot. He's playing in right field, all-star in 77. Bats from the left side, and he has a -3 arm. Chris Chambliss, holding the bag at first, batting from the left side. Greg Nettles, third base, all-star and gold glove in 77, hits from the left side of the plate. Sweet Lou Piniella, your left fielder for Game 6. He hits from the right side and has a +1 arm rating. So, all your Dodgers outfielders have a -2 or a -3 arm strength. Quite different with the Yankees. They've got a +2, a +1, and a -3. So a little bit of a different level of defense there. You've got Bucky Dent hitting in the 8th spot. Dent is hitless for the series. He bats from the right side, plays short. And then again, Mike Torrez is your pitcher, bringing up that 9 spot. So those are the 2 lineups. Let's get into some action. All right, first inning of Game 6 ready to get underway. Right-hander Torrez is on the mound. Righty Davey Lopes is up first. Lopes is hitting .200 for the series. Couple stolen bases so far. So our pitch from Torrez, that's a 6 and a 10 against the right-handed batter, and that is a fly ball, center field X. So balls hit to Mickey Rivers. Rivers is a 3 and a 9 on the super advanced fielding chart. Ooh, that's not good. That's a 1 for a fielding rating. Good thing It's early. DO3. And then on the 9 error rating, we have an 8. So that's a blank. So DO3 means that we have a double right off the bat by Davey Lopes. So Lopes is on second base. So Dodgers leadoff hitter able to get on. We've got Bill Russell, the shortstop, up next. Russell for the series is hitting 158 with 1 error. So let's see what Russell can do here. Lopes is not being held at second base, so that's a 3 and an 11. Against a right-handed pitcher, 3 and 11. It's a ground ball, third base B. However, it is a split. So we have a single on a 1 through 12 with 1 star, or a line out to shortstop 13 through 20. And that's a line out to short. So that's a line out 6 for 1 down. Switch hitting Reggie Smith up next. Smith is hitting 176 for the series. He does have 2 home runs though. Infield is playing normal. That's a 1. So we've got a possible random event. So we'll have a wild pitch from Torrez on a 3 or less. And that is a 2. So Torrez lets one go, and Lopes advances to third on the wild pitch. So go ahead run is 90 feet away on third with the speedy Davey Lopes. Smith still is at the plate. Infield is playing back. And the roll is a 2 and an 11. Smith is batting lefty against righty Torrez. He's a switch hitter. However, for this case, we have a ballpark effect home run, 2 and 11 against a right-handed pitcher. So there's an opportunity for the 3rd home run of the series by Reggie Smith. So we're going to look at the ballpark effects for a left-handed hitter. A little bit easier than the righties. On a 1 through 10, it's a home run to right field. And that's a 10. So, because we are playing the super advanced rules, it doesn't end there. So we get a little bit of drama. So our left fielder, Lou Piniella, is up against the wall. He jumps, and now we're going to see if he catches it or if it's a home run. So we look at the outfielder robbing a home run. Piniella, his fielding rating is a 3. So we look over here, and I think you can see this. Outfielder's rating's a 3. On a 1 through 11, it's a home run. 12 through 20, Piniella jumps up and grabs it just as it was going over the wall. So here we go. So I apologize here, gang. I made a mistake on the fielder. So it's a left batter. He's a lefty. So it's the right fielder that's affected. My apologies. So last number in the home run range, which was a 10, and we rolled a 10. So our right fielder is Reggie Jackson, and he is a 4. So on a 1 through 15, it's going to be a home run. On a 16 through 20, it's not. So here we go. And that's a home run. So Reggie Smith has his 3rd home run of the series. That's a 2-run shot to give the Dodgers a 2-0 lead in the top of the 1st. So Lopes scores. Smith gets 2 RBIs. And Torrez is off to a tough start. Dodgers lead 2-0. So I apologize for getting a little excited there on the Lou Piniella piece, but how that did work out is exactly how you would play that using the super advanced runner or outfielder robbing a home run. So now we have the third baseman Ron Say up with 1 out. Torrez looking to regain his composure here. That's a 5 and a 7. 5 and a 7 against a right-handed batter is a double 1 to 8, or a single 9 through 20. So our roll, so it's a single. So Say reaches first on a single. Third hit issued. Torrez is getting slapped around here. Say's at first. Steve Garvey's up. 5 home runs as mentioned in the introduction so far in this series. Wondering if he's going to be able to get that 6th one to make him the all-time home run leader in his individual series. So we mentioned it earlier, Jackson in real life ended up with 5 in the 77 World Series, 3 in 1 game. And then there's a contemporary player, I can't remember who it was, who had 5 recently. I think it was a Houston Astro. I can't remember his name. I'll have to look that up. So anyways, Say is being held on first. So I'm going to use these little orange pieces here to show you which players are holding the runners on. So our first and second baseman are holding Say at first. So here's our roll. That's a 2 and a 12 against a right-handed pitcher. That's a fly ball right field A. So that's an F9. So that's out number 2. Runners hold. Now I'm going to take the hold off and we're going to play the infield back. Looking to get this last out of the inning. Stop the early bleeding being inflicted by the Dodgers batting order. So that's a 4 and a 3 against a right-handed batter. 4 and a 3 is a fly ball right field X. So that ball's hit to Reggie Jackson. He's a 4 and an 18 fielding error rating. For the series, Baker's hitting 267 with 2 home runs. So let's see what happens with Reggie Jackson here. This is not a good roll. That one is going to lead to some bad news. So that's a TR3. And then Jackson's error rating is an 18, which is an E2. I actually think that this could help him out a little bit. So a TR3 with an E2 is a triple and error, batter, and all runners score. Boy, was I wrong about that. So triple and an error, batter, and all runners score. So Baker gets credit for a triple. And then we have a E9, throwing error probably, and Baker and Say both score. So now the Dodgers have a 4-0 lead. Martin's beyond himself right now. He's not sure what the heck's going on with his starter Mike Torrez. I'm just putting this in my book here. Give an RBI to Say for, to Baker for the run that Say scored, being that he did it on the triple. And there we go. All right. So now bases are clear. We have the left-handed hitting Rick Monday up. 2 down. That's a 1 and a 6 against a right-handed pitcher, and that's a strikeout. So big inning for the Dodgers as they look to clinch this in the Bronx. After a half inning, it's the Dodgers 4 and the Yankees 0. So I'm just checking my cards here to make sure that they're in order so we don't bat out of order the next time we go through the Dodgers lineup. So a nice start to the game for the Dodgers. Yanks have their work cut out for them. A lot of firepower in that Yankees lineup. Burt Hooton on the mound for the Dodgers in 77. Hooton was a 12-7. He had a 12-7 record, 2.62 ERA over 31 starts, 153 strikeouts versus 60 base on balls. So a nice season for Hooton. Rivers is going to see if he can get some of those Yankees runs back by hopefully hitting a home run, if at the very least getting on base. So, a little bit discombobulated here, fellas. I had a long day at work today. Got the Patriots and Bills game on in the background. Volume's on low, but I got to tell you, I think that Patriots are wearing the best uniform in the NFL ever with the Patriot Pat logo. Loved that Patriot Pat logo when I was a kid. 1 and a 9 against a right-handed pitcher. A 1 and a 9 is a single, a 1 through 3. A line out to second base, 4 through 20. And that's a line out to second. So Rivers is down. Second baseman Willie Randolph is up next. Randolph has had a little bit of a tough time at the plate in this series. He's 4 for 23 for a 174 average. That's a 4 and a 7 against a right-handed batter. 4 and a 7 is a strikeout. Now the captain, Thurman Munson, is up next. Munson's had a good series. He's batting .400 with 2 home runs. He has had 1 error, though, that was committed. That's a 1 and 11 against a right-handed pitcher, and that's a ground ball second base. So the Yanks failed to do much of anything other than go down 1-2-3 in their half of the first, and after 1, it's the Dodgers 4 and the Yankees 0. 4-0. Dodgers have the lead. Going to start this second inning with Yeager, then the pitcher Burt Hooton, and then top of the order with Davey Lopes. So Yeager for the series is batting 111, 2 for 18. It's a 1 and a 4 against the right-handed Torrez, and that's a walk. First walk issued by Torrez puts Yeager at first for the pitcher Burt Hooton. So defense is going to play corners in. I am going to attempt to sacrifice bunt. So Hooton has a D rating for bunting. Let's look at our sacrifice chart here. So corners are in, so that means that his D becomes an E. So I'm going to roll. So there's no random event. There's a 1, so let's hit back to the pitcher. So we'll put this on there for the pitcher. And then a 5 on an E is a successful sacrifice. So Hooton's able to put down the nice bunt and advance Yeager over to second for the top of the Dodgers order with Davey Lopes. So nice job by Hooton laying down the bunt. So far, Dodgers can't do any wrong. Yeager is not being held. Infield is playing normal. Davey Lopes hit a double and scored on the home run by Reggie Smith in the first. That's a 2 and a 7 against a right-handed pitcher, and that is a walk. So back-to-back walks by Torrez, or 2 walks so far in the inning, not back-to-back. So that puts Yeager at second still, and Lopes goes to first. Bill Russell's up next. He lined out to the shortstop last inning. I am going to get the Yankees bullpen going. This is way too early. I didn't want to do that, but Torrez is just not getting lucky here at all. So we're going to have the lefty Ken Holtzman warm up. And the righty Ken Clay. So Holtzman and Clay are warming up in the Yankees bullpen. Need to give them a couple of batters to get ready to go. So Torrez is going to work a little bit slower here, catch his breath, try to get into a rhythm, and let's see what happens. All that took place after a mound visit by the catcher Thurman Munson. So Torrez is pitching to Russell. Infield will be playing at its normal positioning, looking for that double play. That's a 2 and a 9 against a right-handed pitcher, and that's a ground ball shortstop A. So that's going to be that double play that we were looking for. So we're going to score that a 6-4-3 double play. So 6-4-3. That's going to make Lopes the first out of the inning. Russell is the second. Yeager is going to advance to third, though. And the Dodgers do have 2 outs against them now. So Reggie Smith, who hit the home run in the first, is up. That's the 3rd home run of the series that Smith has been able to hit. Infield is playing back. Smith is swinging away, or infield normal. That's a 5 and a 6. 5 and a 6 against a left-handed batter is a fly ball to left field. That's an F7. So Torrez is able to get out of the inning without issuing any runs, but he sure made it exciting with 2 walks. There was a sacrifice by Hooton. So after 1.5, it's the Dodgers 4 and the Yankees 0. All right. Reggie Jackson is up, followed by Chris Chambliss and the 3rd baseman, Greg Nettles. Jackson is having a good series as well. He's batting .316 with a couple doubles and a couple of home runs. So, nice offensive output for Jackson. That's a 3 and a 12 against a left-handed, with a left-handed batter. However, it is a right-handed pitcher that we're facing here. So that's a 3 and a 12 as a line out to second base. First baseman Chris Chambliss is up next. Chambliss is batting .313 with a stolen base, a couple doubles. It's a 1 and a 7 against a right-handed pitcher. That's a double, 1 to 10, a single, 11 to 20. And that's a double. So Chambliss gets a 1-out double. Puts a Yankees base runner in scoring position for the 3rd baseman, Greg Nettles. Nettles, a Gold Glove All-Star in '77. For the series, he's batting .211 with 1 home run. He was the hero of Game 4 with his 9th inning home run. Or was it Game 5? Let me take a look here. Game 5? Nope, it was Game 4. Game 4 is when he hit that home run. So we'll see what Nettles is able to do here. So infield is playing back, or normal I should say. Nettles is up. That's a 3 and an 8 against a right-handed pitcher. 3 and an 8 is a pop out to third base. That's the 2nd out of the inning. Now we have the left fielder, Sweet Lou Piniella. Piniella is batting .381 for the series with a couple doubles, a triple, and 1 home run. And we almost had him hit for this. That was Rivers who almost hit for the cycle last game. But Piniella's had a game 2 where he almost hit for the cycle as well. So didn't happen though. Infield is playing normal. That's a 5 and a 4 against a right-handed batter, and that is a catcher X. So Yeager's going to get tested here. Yeager, super solid defensive catcher on a 1 and an 8. That's a 12 on the fielding, or on the range rating, and then an 11 on the error rating. So this should be an out. Should get the Yankees side of the inning, or I should say the Dodgers. So this is 12. 12 is a PO, and an 8 and an 11 is a blank. So a PO is the batter pops out to the catcher. And that's the third out. So Chambliss is stranded at second. Yanks did get one hit. However, after two, it's the Dodgers 4 and the Yankees 0. Top of the third, the Penguin, Dodgers third baseman Ron Cey is up. Cey had a single in the first. That's a 6 and a 5 against a right-handed batter, and that is a strikeout. So second strikeout of the game for Torrez. Brings the hard-hitting Steve Garvey to the plate, looking for that 6th home run of the series. It's a 1 and an 8 against a right-handed pitcher, and holy cow, look at that game. 1 and an 8 is a home run. So Garvey has a celebratory trot around the bases. Boom! And the handful of Dodger fans in Yankee Stadium are going crazy. So that's the 6th home run of the series that Garvey has hit. So I know this is just a make-believe game, but in my mind, Garvey just became the home run leader for World Series opportunities with that 6th blast of the '77 World Series. So that's pretty cool that we set that record. So with that being said, the Dodgers now have a 5-0 lead. The bullpen is warmed up with Holtzman and Clay. You know, at this point, we're going to keep riding Torrez. Strat-O-Matic rules doesn't put him at risk at this point, but you know, it's a little bit disappointing he had such a bad start to this game. So Baker facing Torrez. Baker hit a triple and scored on the error by Reggie Jackson in the first. So we have a 6 and a 7. 6 and a 7 against a right-handed batter is a ground ball second base X. So our second baseman is Willie Randolph. Randolph is a 2 and an 18. That's a 13 and an 11. So 13 and 11. 13 results in a G1. And an 18 and an 11 is a blank. So that's a ground out 4-3. Second out of the inning for the Dodgers. Left-handed hitter Rick Monday is up next. Monday struck out in the first. 3 and a 4 against a right-handed pitcher. A 3 and a 4 home run, 1-11, and a double, 12-20. So that's a double. Yeager's at the plate. He's going to swing away. Infield is playing normal. That's a 3 and a 7 against a right-handed pitcher, and that is a strikeout. So third out of the inning recorded. Third strikeout of the game for Torrez, but not after Steve Garvey hits his 6th home run of the series to give the Dodgers a 5-0 lead. So Hooton goes back to the mound with a nice 5-run cushion. Bucky Dent will be up for the Yanks. Dent has had a very, very difficult series. He hasn't gotten a hit after 16 at-bats, although he did draw a walk in the last game. So need Dent to contribute here to help get something going for the Yankees. That's a 2 and a 9 against a right-handed pitcher, and that's a pop out to the shortstop. So this is going to be the end of the day for Torrez. We're going to get a pinch hitter up for him. We're going to go with a lefty here. We're going to bring in George Zerber, switch hitter, as a pinch hitter for Torrez. So it's actually ZB, not Zerber. Zeber, not Zerber. So he's batting from the left side of the plate. That's a 3 and a 9 against a right-handed pitcher. And that is a strikeout. Oops. And then we've got Mickey Rivers up next. Rivers is 0 for 1 so far on the day. That's a 2 and a 3 against a right-handed pitcher. And that's a ballpark effect single. So on a 1 through 8, Rivers will have a single, and that's a 4. So Rivers is able to hit a 2-out single. Give the Yankees hope here in the bottom of the third. Second baseman Willie Randolph is up next. Infield is playing normal. That's a 4 and a 5 against a right-handed batter, and that is a fly ball to right field. So the Yankees are retired. They do get one hit. They strand one, and after 3, it's the Dodgers 5 and the Yankees 0. All right, so just a little bit of a fun fact. I had mentioned that Garvey hit a 6th home run of the series in the 3rd inning for the Dodgers. Just spent a little bit of time looking this up here. So George Springer hit 5 home runs in 2017 with the Astros in the World Series. That was the same World Series where the Astros ran into the problem with the trash can signal calling. And then Chase Utley did it prior to Springer in the Phillies World Series in 2009. He hit 5 as well. And then, of course, Reggie Jackson, which I mentioned earlier, did so in the 77 series, and he had 3 in one game. So Bryce Harper hit 5 home runs in the 2022 World Series. So Jackson earns the record in 77, and then over the past two of the last 5 World Series, there's been 2 players who have hit 5 home runs. So kind of cool. Again, other than this being interesting to me and maybe anyone who's watching it, Garvey hitting the 6 home runs doesn't happen very often. So that's a little historical perspective on that whole home run thing. All right. Well, the Yankees have a new pitcher. Torrez is done for the day. He pitched 3 innings, gave up 3 hits, 5 runs, 4 of which were earned, 2 walks and 3 strikeouts, and he did have the wild pitch, which allowed Davey Lopes to advance from 2nd to 3rd. Ken Clay, another right-handed batter, is coming in, pitcher is coming into the game. He has a point of weakness rating of 3, which means that if all goes perfectly well for him, he should be able to pitch through the 7th inning. He has a 2 range rating and a 0 for an error rating. He hits on the one pitcher card. He's weak from the right side. He does not issue any balks, nor can he issue any wild pitches. He does have a +1 hold rating, and his bunting grade is a C. So we'll see how Ken Clay can hold up against this Dodgers lineup. So the first batter he's going to face for the Dodgers is the pitcher Burt Hooton. Hooton had a sacrifice hit in the second inning, which moved Yeager over to second base. So the pitch to Hooton, it's a 1 and a 7, and that's going to be a strikeout. So the first batter Clay has faced, he strikes out. So top of the Dodgers order, Lopes is 1 for 1 on the day with a walk in the second. He did have a double, and he did score in the first. That's a 5 and a 7 against a right-handed batter. That's a ground ball, second base X. So we have a ball hit to Willie Randolph. I believe he is a 2 and an 18, which he is. The fielding error rating. That's an 18. And then a 11. So that's a G1. And then an 11. No error. So that's ground out 4-3. So just like that, the Dodgers have 2 outs. And then we have the shortstop Bill Russell up next. Russell's 0 for 2 on the day. He hit into a double play in the second to effectively shut down a Dodgers threat. They had 2 men on at the time. That's a 5 and a 6 against a right-handed batter, and that's a fly ball left field B. So Clay comes into the game and shuts the Dodgers down 1-2-3, and after 3.5, it's the Dodgers 5 and the Yankees 0. So the Yanks do have Ken Holtzman, the left-hander, warmed up and ready to go should the need arise here. Yankees batters need to get going. All right, Munson's up. Munson's 0 for 1 on the day. He grounded out to second base in the first. It's a 5 and a 6 against a right-handed batter. It's a fly ball to left field. So 1 down. The real Mr. October is up next. Jackson lined out to the second baseman in the second. It's a 3 and a 9 against a right-handed pitcher. Is a strikeout. So you get the sense that the Yankees are pretty demoralized, finding themselves off to that 5-run deficit after 3 innings. First baseman Chris Chambliss is up next. Chambliss had a double in the second. It's a 4 and a 4 against a left-handed batter. It's a ballpark effect single. So on a 1 through 8, Chambliss will have a base hit. And that's a 15. That's a line out to the second baseman. So the Yankees go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 4th. So after 4, it's the Dodgers 5 and the Yankees 0. Top of the 5th. Dodgers are up. We've got Smith, Say, and Garvey up next. So Smith is 1 for 2 on the day. He had a home run in the first, flew out to left in the second. He picked from Clay. That's a 1 and a 6 against a right-handed pitcher. And that's a single 1 to 9. Line out to second 10 to 20. And that's a 12. So that's a line out to second. So Smith is down. Ron Say is up next. Say is 1 for 2 with a single in the first, strikeout in the second. It's a 6 and an 11 against a right-handed batter, and that is a strikeout. So 2 strikeouts in the game for Ron Say. And Mr. 6 home run, Steve Garvey, is up next. Garvey flew out to right in the first and then had a home run in the third. It's a 2 and a 7 against a right-handed pitcher. That is a strikeout. So the Dodgers go down again, 1-2-3, after another solid inning by the Yankees relief pitcher Ken Clay. And after 4.5, it's the Dodgers 5 and the Yankees 0. Third baseman Greg Nettles is up for the Yanks, trying to get something started here in the bottom of the 5th. Nettles popped out to the third baseman in the second. That's a 6 and a 7 against the left-handed batter. And that's a ground ball, second base B. Excuse me, ground ball, second base X. So that's hit to Davey Lopes. To 319. So that's a 6. It's going to be a G3 hashtag. We're going to ignore the hashtag. And then we've got a 9 on the 19. That's a blank. So that's a ground out 4-3 for Greg Nettles. And there's one down for the Yankees. Lou Piniella's up next. Piniella popped out to the catcher in the second inning. It's a 4 and a 10 against a right-handed batter. That's a ground ball, shortstop X. So Bill Russell's going to get the opportunity on this play. Russell's at 232 for fielding. It's an 18. That's a 13. That's a G1. And a 32 on the shortstop. 13 is going to be an error. That's an E1, so it's a G1, E1. Error, batter to first. So Piniella is able to get to first base on the error by the shortstop Russell. That is Russell's second error of the series. So the Yanks have a runner on with one out. Just marking the error for Russell. So we've got the shortstop Bucky Dent up next. Dent's had a heck of a tough time this series. He remains hitless. He's due though. 4 and a 6 against a right-handed pitcher, and with a right-handed batter. Excuse me. 4 and a 6 is a ground ball, third base B. So that's going to get our runner over. So if hit to second base, shortstop, batter out, runners advance one base. Oh shoot, where are we at here? Ground ball, third base B, runner on first, 4. I was reading the wrong thing. Batter safe, runner at first, out going to second. So we had a fielder's choice. That's going to be a 5-4. And so Dent reaches base for only the second time in this series at the expense of Lou Piniella, and reaches on a fielder's choice. We've got Ken Clay up next. Uses the number 1 hitting card. Actually, that was the third out. No, excuse me, that was the second out, pardon me. Like I said, guys, it was a long day at work. Alright, so that's a 2 and a 3. And that's going to be a foul out to the catcher. So, you know, the Yankees have had a lot of men on base this series. It's like they just kind of sputter. They just haven't been able to put anything together consistently that gives them a long inning. They did in a couple of games, but they've just had these sporadic hits and sporadic runs, which kind of typifies their offense in this series and why they're down as they are. So let's see here. Nettles, Piniella, Dent. I guess if there's a silver lining to that, they'll begin the sixth inning with the top of their lineup. All right, top of six, Dodgers 5, Yankees 0. You can almost feel all the way across the country the Dodgers fans amping up for this Game 4 win. All right, top of the order here, or excuse me, Dusty Baker's up for the Dodgers. He had the triple that turned into an error-based home run on the error from Reggie Jackson in the first. Rounded out 4-3 in the third. Ken Clay has pitched 2 really good innings after coming in relief for Torrez. So that's a 4 and an 8. It's a right-handed batter. 4 and an 8 is a walk. So just as I give the comment of what a great job that Clay is doing, he gives up a leadoff walk to Baker. Rich Monday's up next. Infield is playing back, looking for the double play. Should say they're playing normal. 6 and a 9 against a left-handed batter. A 6 and a 9 is a ballpark effect home run. So our lefties have a home run opportunity on a 1 through 10. And that is our second outfielder potentially robbing a home run of this game. So the range was 1 to 10, and I rolled a 10. So now I'm going to make sure we get this right the first time. We have a left-handed batter, and it was the last number in the home run range. So it's our right fielder who's making the play, so it's on Jackson. Jackson has a fielding rating of 4. So on a 1 through 15, Monday has a home run. 16 through 20, it's an out. Ooh, and that's an 18. So Jackson is able to jump up at the track, get his glove over the wall, and rob Monday of a home run. So Jackson was the other, was the recipient of the previous home run, where it was challenged by Reggie Smith, who was swinging from the left side of the plate as well. And that time Jackson wasn't able to bring the ball in, and Smith got that home run. So we have 1 down. Baker's at first. Catcher Steve Yeager's up next. Yeager's 0 for 1 on the day. He did have a walk. Infield is playing normal. That's a 4 and an 11. 4 and an 11 against a right-handed batter is a ground ball, second base B. So we got a runner on first. It's a 4. Batter safe. Runner is out, so that's a fielder's choice that Yeager hits into. And there's 2 down now. Dodgers give up a little bit of speed with that fielder's choice. And we have the catcher Burt Hooton up next. Hooton had a sacrifice in the second and a strikeout in the fourth. Infield's playing normal. It's a 5 and a 9. Hooton swings from the right side of the plate. 5 and a 9 is a fly ball to right field. It's the third out of the inning. So the Dodgers strand 1 on no hits. And after 5.5, it's the Dodgers 5 and the Yankees 0. So Clay has hit his point of weakness. You're in the 6th, but he's still doing fine. Dodgers will start the 7th with Lopes in the top of their order. Oh, no. Alright, let's see if I can curse Hooton. So Hooton is cruising through this game with a 2-hitter through 5 innings. So we'll see how the Yankees order does for a 3rd time as they face him in this game. But Hooton's pitching a masterpiece here. So Rivers is up first, 1 for 2 in the game. That's a 2 and a 7 against a right-handed pitcher. 2 and a 7 is a fly ball center field. So that's out number 1. Second baseman Willie Randolph is up next. Randolph is 0 for 2 with a strikeout in the 1st. That's a 2 and a 7. That's a ground ball shortstop. So that's a 6-3 put out. So that's 2. The Yankees are making this too easy on the Dodgers. Thurman Munson's up, 0 for 2 on the day. Ground out in the 1st. Flew out to left in the 4th. It's a 2 and a 5 against a right-handed pitcher. That's a fly out to right field. So 3 up and 3 down. And the Yankees are out of the 6th. So after 6 full, it's the Dodgers 5 and the Yankees 0. Alright, top of the Dodgers order. Ken Clay remains on the mound. This will probably be Clay's last inning, given how his relief power of weakness numbers work out. So Lopes is up. Lopes is 1 for 2 with a walk in the 2nd and a double in the 1st. He's the one who got that big Dodgers 1st inning going. And the pitch, 2 and a 5 against a right-handed pitcher, is a ground ball back to Clay, and he turns and fires the Chambliss for the 1st out. So ground out 1-3. The right-handed relief pitcher Dick Tidrow is warming up in the Yankees bullpen. Russell is up next. Russell is 0 for 3 on the day, hit into a double play in the 2nd. It's a 5 and an 8 against a right-handed batter. It's a ground ball shortstop. So 6-3 for out number 2. And Reggie Smith, who had our 1st inning home run and got the Dodgers on the board with a 2-0 lead, is up next. He is 1 for 3 on the day. That's a 4 and a 3 against the left-handed batter. And that's a fly ball right field X. So that ball's hit to Jackson. Jackson has a 4 and an 18. Fielding rating of 4, error rating of 18. And this is not going to be good. So a 4 on a 4 is a DO2, so possible 2-bagger here. And a 14 on the 18 is a blank. That's going to be a double. So Smith has a 2-out double. For Ron Say. 3rd baseman Ron Say is up next. Dodgers are playing infield normal. That's a 6 and a 10 against a right-handed batter, and that's a ground out to 1st base. So we're going to score that at 3 unassisted for the 3rd out. So Smith gets stranded at 2nd. Dodgers are ahead 5-0 after 6.5. And that's going to spell the end of the day for Ken Clay. We'll get you numbers on him here shortly. So Hooton's back on the mound. Dodgers bullpen is quiet. Reggie Jackson's going to try to get something going here for the Yanks. 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout in the 4th. It's a 4 and a 9 against the left-handed batter is a ground ball shortstop X. So Russell's going to get a chance here. He's already had one error on the day. He's a 2 and a 32. No, I think this one's going to be an out. That's a 19 and an 11. 19 should be a G1. And then an 11 on a 32 for the shortstop is a blank. So that's a 6-3 putout for Jackson. Brings up the lefty Chris Chambliss, who's 1 for 2 on the day. He had a double in the second. Only one of the only 2 hits that Hooton has given up so far in this game. This is Hooton's point of weakness inning, but he's not pitching like it at all. So that's a 1 and an 8 against a right-handed pitcher, and that is a pop out to first base. Boy, you want any type of understanding of how things have gone for the Yankees in this game, look at Chambliss's 1 rating on his card. A 4, 8, 4 and an 8 are the only results that wouldn't allow him to end up with at least a base hit, or end up on first. If you roll the 12, he'd be hit by a pitch. So, just how it goes sometimes. Greg Nettles is up next, 0 for 2 on the day. Nothing really exciting to speak of in his previous 2 at-bats. Pop out to the third baseman in the second, and a ground out 4-3 in the 5th. 2 down for the Yanks. That's a 1 and a 9. 1 and a 9 is a ground ball shortstop B, very similar to what we just looked at on Chambliss's card. Look at all those opportunities to get on base, and all the home run opportunities with lower walls. And we end up grounding out Russell to Garvey for the 3rd out of the inning. So, not complaining, just pointing out some interesting facts here. Alright, so Hooton continues his mastery of this game. After 7, it's the Dodgers 5 and the Yankees 0. Alright, so the line on Yankees reliever Ken Clay. Clay pitched 4 innings, gave up 1 hit, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. No runs allowed during his 4 innings of relief work. So a solid outing by Ken Clay. Martin got the most that he could have. So Dick Tidrow comes into the game. Tidrow is also a right-handed pitcher. Give you some information on him. So Tidrow has a point of weakness of 3. He does have a closer rating here too of 2. He has a pitcher fielding rating of 2, error rating of 19, number 1 hitter, weak, right side. No balk opportunities, a wild pitch on a 2 or less. Does have the -1 hold rating and a bunting rating of C. And again, he throws from the right side of the plate. So we're in the 7th inning, or excuse me, the 8th inning. I'm just making some notes here on the side for my relief pitchers. I kind of like to break down when the pitchers become vulnerable to fatigue, and then also the number of outs that they can pitch, along with how many innings they could pitch if they were to stay in the game. So I think a reliever is able to pitch at most 2 innings in addition to when they hit their point of weakness. So in this case, Tidrow's coming in. He's got the relief rating of 3. He's already given up one of his innings, and so then he has the 8th and the 9th that he needs to complete before he's able to hit his point of weakness inning. And then if the game would be extended, he could pitch into the 10th and 11th, providing he doesn't get into trouble. Highly unlikely, the way things are going for the Yanks, that the game's going to get extended beyond 9 innings, but you never know, and that's why we play the game. So Tidrow, his first batter he faces is Steve Garvey, Mr. Home Run. Garvey hit his 6th home run of the series in the 3rd inning. That's a 3 and a 6 against a right-handed pitcher. That's a ground ball shortstop A. So So Garvey is out 6-3. Baker's up next. A 4 and a 3. Hence to right-handed batter. 4 and a 3 is a ground ball, first base X. So that's hit to Chambliss. Chambliss does have an error in the series in an earlier game. It's a 3 and a 17. So that's a 12. And then an 8. A 12 and an 8. It's going to be a G2. And a 17. And an 8 is a blank. So we're going to score that a 3 unassisted. For the second out, now we have Rick Monday up. The lefty. Monday had a home run stolen from him his last at-bat in the 6th by Reggie Jackson. He made a really nice leaping catch of that home run as it was potentially going over the wall. That's a 5 and a 7 against the left-handed batter, and that's a fly out to center field. So Tidrow comes in and continues the fine pitching effort that Ken Clay had through 4, and after 7.5, it's the Dodgers 5 and the Yankees 0. Hooton's back on the mound. No activity in the Dodgers pen, so Hooton may be pitching towards a complete game here in the deciding tilt of the 77 World Series. So we've got Piniella, Dent, and then the Yankees pitcher Tidrow. So Pinella's up first, 0 for 2 on the day. It's a 1 and a 6 against a right-handed pitcher. Ooh, ballpark effect home run possibility. Unfortunately for the righties, it's a tough one. They need a 1 or a 2 on the 20-sided die for that home run to take place. That's a 17. That doesn't happen, so that's a fly ball to left field. So that's out number 1. Lucky Dent is up. It's a 5 and a 4. That's a catcher X. So that's Yeager. He's a 1-8. That's a 3. 5, 9. So any other roll, a 3 for the range section would be something of concern, but with Yeager, he's got the 1 rating, so it's a WG. And then he rolled a 9 on the 8, and that's a blank. So a WG, it's a squib in front of the plate, and the catcher throws him out at first. So that's a 2-3 put out. And we've got Tidrow coming up. We are going to have a pinch hitter for Tidrow, which is unfortunate because Tidrow really was pitching well that last inning. But we need to see if we can't get something going here. Yankees have Gil Patterson warming up in the pen. He's a right-handed relief pitcher. So we're going to go with the left-handed hitting or the switch hitting. Now we're going to go left-handed hitting Del Alston. So Alston is going to come in and pitch in for Tidrow. So we have 2 outs. Alston's up. Righty-lefty matchup. That's a 5 and an 8. And that is going to be a strikeout. So the pitch hitting didn't make much of a difference there. Tidrow's out of the game. And after 8, it's the Dodgers 5 and the Yankees 0. All right. So we go into the top of the 9th. We've got a new Yankees pitcher. Gil Patterson is on the mound. He has a relief rating of 3 for his point of weakness. He's got a range rating of 3, an error rating of 49. He has issues a wild pitch on an 18 or less, and he can't throw a balk or have a balk. He throws from the right side, a hold rating of -2, bunting grade of C. So Patterson's on the mound. First Dodger hitter he'll face is Steve Yeager. Yeager's 0 for 2 with a walk in the second and a strikeout in the third. So he 4 and a 7 against a right-handed batter, and that is a walk. So Yeager picks up his second walk of the day. Now we have the Dodgers pitcher Burt Hooton up next. Hooton is going to attempt to sacrifice his at-bat to get Yeager over to second. He did that successfully in the second inning. So Hooton's bunting rating is a B. And corners are playing in. So that's a 4 and a 3 on the sacrifice chart. Let's do this. So a 4, it's hit to the first baseman. So we're going to do this. Oops. And then I rolled a 3 on the E, which is going to be a sacrifice. So nice rolls on the sacrifice chart when it comes to Hooton's at-bats. And Yeager is going to go to second base. So nice job. Got to put my Yankees cards back. All right, top of the Dodgers order, Davey Lopes is up. Infield is holding Yeager on, so that would be our second baseman. Willie Randolph is doing that. That's a 1 and a 9. A 1 and a 9 against a right-handed pitcher is a ground ball, second base C. All right, so let me just take a look at something here. And I'm just going to look real quick here. I don't think we're going to have anything take place with him. That's a 1 and a 9 against a right-handed pitcher. Ground ball, second base C. So nothing happens in terms of what occurs with him being held. So the batter's out, runners advance 1 base. All right. So Yeager is going to go over to third. Lopes is out. Score that 4-3. That's the second out of the inning. Hooton had the first out, and we got the shortstop Bill Russell up next. 2 down. Infield is playing normal. It's a 6 and a 5. That's going to result in a walk. So Patterson gives up his second walk of the inning. He's going to bring Reggie Smith up, who hit a home run earlier. Infield is playing normal, looking to try to make that out without an error. Russell is going to attempt to steal. He was not being held at first, so that's going to give him a steal rating of 16. He has a good lead. So that's a 14. We have a -2 on the hold. 12 and 11. Nah, I'm not going to steal with him. That's not a good odd. Yeah, we're going to keep Russell there. Sorry about that. It's getting late. That's a 1. That's a wild pitch. Jeez, look at that. So a wild pitch on an 18 or less. That's a 3. So Yeager's going to score on the wild pitch. And then Russell is going to get to second base a lot easier than if he had tried to steal. So Smith remains at the plate. Dodgers get that 6th run for a 6-0 lead, and Smith remains at the plate. That's a 6 and a 6 against a left-handed batter. 6 and a 6 is a single, 2 stars. And the wheels on the bus have fallen off. That's the 7th run for the Dodgers. 3rd RBI of the game for Smith. And the Yankees fans are booing in disbelief that this game is ending quite like it is. Patterson remains on the mound. He's got 2 outs. We've got Ron Say up next. Smith is not being held. That's a 1 and a 7 against a right-handed pitcher. And that's a walk. So at this point, Patterson's going to come out of the game. Let me make sure I've got my ducks in a row here. So Smith is on second. Say is at first. That's the 3rd walk issued by Patterson. He owns both Say and Smith in terms of earned runs. We're going to bring in Ken Holtzman now. And he pitched 2/3 of an inning. We'll see if we can't get this last Dodger out. And of course, it's Steve Garvey, who's already hit a home run in this game. Has 6 for the series. Let's see what happens here. That's a 2 and a 12 against a left-handed pitcher. 2 and a 12 is a walk. Holy cow. So the bases are loaded. We're going to have Dusty Baker up next, who hit over 30 home runs in 77. So this couldn't have gone any worse for the Yankees than how this game is played out. Let's see what happens. Infield's playing normal. That's a 2 and a 7 against a left-handed pitcher, and that's a ground ball shortstop. All right. So Baker rounds out 6-3 for the 3rd out. However, Dodgers strand 3. There was a wild pitch committed. They had one hit this inning. That was it. And the Dodgers are able to add 2 more to make it a 7-0 game. So the Yankees fans are starting to leave the stadium booing, which is too bad because the Yankees had a great season. Hooton comes on the mound to see if he can't close this one out. He's only given up a couple of hits in this game. No walks. About as good as you can do short of a no-hitter. So the Yankees are at the top of their order with Mickey Rivers, who's 1 for 3. A 1 and a 5 against a right-handed pitcher is a single. Alright, so that's just the 3rd hit given up by Hooton. We have Willie Randolph up next. Rivers is being held. Actually, no, we're going to play infield normal on this one. Rivers would have a 50-50 chance on a steal of second base to get there successfully. We haven't had any runners in scoring position in this game since early on, so we're gonna send Rivers. So doing some math on this, so he automatically has a good lead because he's got an asterisk. So that's 15. The pitcher-catcher modifier is -3. Hooton has a 0, but Yeager's arm is a -3. And then we have the -2 for the good lead. So it's a 50-50 chance here that Rivers is able to steal second, and he does. So Rivers is in to second on the stolen base. And quite frankly, after Rivers made the decision to go, I could have just sent him, because had I rolled a 3 on the roll or less on the 20-sided die, we would have used Jaeger's throwing rating, which is a 1 through 18. So on a 1 through 3, it's almost a guarantee that Rivers would have made it, plus he would have got the extra base on the overthrow. So regardless, Rivers makes it successfully. Willie Randolph is up with now runner now in scoring position. That's a 2 and a 12 against a right-handed pitcher. That's a fly ball to left. So there's one down. Thurman Munson's up. Munson's been quiet in this game. Infield is playing normal. Rivers is not being held. So that's a 1. So that's a potential wild pitch. So on a 4 or less, there's a wild pitch. No wild pitch. We're going to re-roll the 3 6-sided dice. That's a 1 and a 9 against a right-handed pitcher. That's a ground ball, third base A. And I think that's going to seal the second out. I'm just looking out this there. 2 runners on second, ground ball, third base A. So that's an out. 5-3. Runner holds. Now we have Reggie Jackson up. We need some heroics from the real Mr. October here. Infield's playing normal. It's a 5 and a 7 against a left-handed batter. Triple on a roll of a 1. Single with 2 stars, 2 through 20. So Jackson is able to knock Rivers in. So the Yankees at least won't be shut out. First run issued by Hooton on the day. Just the 4th hit. And now there's a 7-1 Dodger lead. Infield's playing back. They'll give Jackson the chance to steal second. I'm going to do that. He has a 19, so on a 16, 14 or less, Jackson will steal second base successfully. I am not going to risk the throw from Jaeger though this time, so Jackson steals second base uncontested. Second stolen base of the inning. Chambliss is up, runner in scoring position. And the pitch. Infield's playing normal. It's a 1 and a 12. Hit by pitch. We aren't playing the plus injury in this. So there we go. Chambliss gets to first. So Dodgers bullpen remains quiet. We've got 2 outs, runners on first and second. Third baseman Greg Nettles is up. 7-1 Dodgers lead. That's a 9. A 1 and a 9 against a right-handed pitcher is a ground ball, shortstop B. So I'm just recording that. So the Dodgers bench erupts. The handful of faithful Dodger blue in the stadiums go berserk. A lot of the Yankees fans had cleared out at the start of the 9th after the run was given up by Patterson. The scene on the field is stupendous if you're a Dodgers fan. Dodgers take the series 4 games to 2, and they do it on the road in Yankee Stadium. So I hope you've enjoyed this 6-game series. It was a lot of fun to do this. I'll tell you, it's quite interesting trying to record and play the game at the same time. I know I probably made some errors along the way. Appreciate any of you who have watched it. Really interested in your comments and feedback on this. I intend to do some more of this. It's kind of fun. I enjoy it. It adds a different dimension to Strat-O-Matic than if I'm just playing by myself in the basement watching a game from the 2022 season. So thanks for tuning in today. Yankees, Dodgers, 77 World Series. Strat-O-Matic highlight: Steve Garvey has 6 home runs in the series, and the Dodgers win 4 games to 2. So until next time, take care.